Hi everyone, I'm Liz.
And I'm Cody.
And welcome to Unit 2, to live and hoard in LA. So it appears there is a neighborhood in LA's Koreatown where they've been dealing with a very big problem. And this problem takes the form of a house where just garbage and trash and stuff has built up, not only inside the house, but in the front yard and in the backyard. And the city has undertaken the monumental task of cleaning this house up because the neighbors have been complaining about it.
Monumental.
Monumental. In this house, there lives a 90-year-old woman and her son. And the problem is that the neighbors spot her son bringing stuff back to the house basically every day. So he picks up tires off the street and bicycles and things that have been discarded, and he even goes through the trash to salvage things that have been thrown away that might someday, he thinks, or he says, will be useful.
Spot.
Spot.
Salvage.
Salvage. They never throw it out, and it just accumulates in their front and backyard, and presumably inside their house as well. And it's also attracting rats and roaches and other unpleasant things, which the neighbors quite understandably have a problem with. So speaking of this situation, what is the messiest house you've ever seen?
I gotta be careful with my answer here.
Okay.
Definitely not my house,
Okay.
nor my family, nor friends. But I did have a neighbor before, not as messy or trashy as what you described in this LA situation, but they would never really cut the grass. It would grow really big, and they would throw trash out, and they had 3 big dogs, and they would, defecate or release their bowels on the grass many times and never clean it. And Texas summers are hot, and that's smelly, and they would just throw trash out, and it would pile up, and it maybe looked kind of close to what you're describing, but not terribly bad. But we often had to make complaints to the city that this is a health hazard, and this is also not just a nuisance to the eye, but the smell and everything that caused it. We were worried about our dog, and there's a legitimate concern about fleas and ticks in high grass, and that affects your pets or yourself. So it was actually a health issue.
Yeah,
so
that's extreme.
After a couple of months, they got it cleaned, or because the local government or city fined them. So they had some penalty to pay.
Money is always a good motivator.
Absolutely, yeah. But how about for you?
I would have to say probably my grandmother's house. She has passed on, God rest her soul. But she was a bit of a hoarder. And not in a messy way. It was not dirty. But there was a lot of stuff.
I think I know what you mean, yeah.
Like piles of magazines that were a little dusty, but not worrying about like feces and roaches and rats and things like that. So it wasn't like leftover food or something that would spoil. But yeah, magazines and dolls and figurines and all kinds of stuff. So when she did pass away, it was a monumental task to clean up her house and to get everything out and ready to sell to someone else.
Yeah, so less of an eyesore, maybe just crammed.
From the outside, it looked beautiful. From the outside, it was fine. And inside, you could walk around and you could move, and that was okay.
Eyesore.
Eyesore. But there was a surprising amount of stuff, and it's very,
I think it's something with that older generation too. Even my great-grandmother, when she passed away, she had so much stuff packed away in boxes in this dusty area, and lots of china and fine things and glass. Like, she just kept them but never used them.
Right, and yeah, I think especially like the magazines. These days, all of your magazines are in your tablet or your phone on the internet. So you know, she thought, you know, she'd read them one day, or they had recipes that she wanted to use, or there was something they'd be useful at some point. But these days you just look it up on Google and all's good. And now on to the language focus. The first point is by all accounts. For example, by all accounts, Iceland is a beautiful country to visit.
Looks very beautiful, but maybe cold.
Very cold.
And for the second one, you name it. So for my example, for Christmas dinner, Americans like to have turkey, ham, stuffing, gravy, pies, you name it.
We eat it all.
Yes.
Okay, that's all for the preview, and we'll see you in the review.